Howdy y'all, DJTJ here with part 2 of my Lone Star GT battle report. So, let's get ready to roll. Alright guys, welcome back for part 2 of my Lone Star GT battle report. This will have games 4 and 5 in it and some after tournament commentary on the end. If you were interested in my list, my thoughts on it, how I plan to use it, why I took certain things, check out part 1. It'll be in there. If you're interested in the written list of the winning players from the GT, my opponents, or my list, there's a link in the description. It'll take you to the blog post. We'll have the videos. It'll have all the lists and all the placings for the Lone Star GT. All that being said, once again, I just want to thank everybody that is tuning in and watching, and all the people that gave me shout outs at the event. It's always nice to see and hear from people that are enjoying what I'm doing. And yeah, let's get right into game number 4.
Okay, we're at game 4, and we're doing Veins of Gur. I'm playing Cameron over here from the Dallas Defenders. He's got iron jaws, nicely painted, snow themed, and the table's looking like this. I'll be honest, they're way fast. It's going to be it's a good game for him. It's a good match. So I'm gonna let him go first. Alright, so my turn. Took broken ranks on the Gorgunners that were there. Couldn't wipe them in hero phase. I was hoping I would. I got them down to like, I think 7 wounds left total. So basically we had to take it into shooting, but we did take them out. We're at the charge, locked up the Maw Crusher, killed the 3 Grunners over there, and I scored 2 VP, so we're tied 2-2 going into this round. We're going to do a roll-off, and I tell you what, I really need to win. Nope, he got it. 4. Oh, am I going to get it? I'm not going to beat a 5. There you go. Would not beat a 5 with 4 rolls. All right, so he's going to end his turn. Well, when I lost the roll-off, I was for sure the game was over. He used a Mighty Destroyer's Right to pile in 3, so he did lock the Bow Snakes up during his hero phase, and I was like, well, they're done. I rolled for armor saves, all out defense, and I managed to roll 5 6s to stop all the attacks. 5 damage. Yeah, 5 damage each. So then he ended up still killing 5.5 from just the Maw Crusher. But that was like, and then we both said that just crazy swing to the game. But he did Savage Spearhead, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah, so he teleported these guys back here, and he got the Maw Crusher. So he got his point. The center point popped out here. He got his Shaman on it, so he scored 3 this turn. Maw Crusher's down to 13 wounds. So that's where we're at right now. Going into Daughter's turn. All right, my turn wasn't bad at all. Did what I needed to do. We took Slay the Warlord here. The sisters got Mind Razor on them. Black Horror went off, but only did 1. And we got the Withering on the Warlord. We were able to get Marathi out of combat and charge over there. These sisters came in and finished off the last 4. I think we got the Maw Crusher down to 4 wounds. And then at the start of combat, they were able to activate and finish him. Harpies came down to contest that point. and we locked them up. The only thing that sort of failed is I had a long bomb charge here with this Marathi just to lock those pigs in case I lose the roll-off, and that's where we're going to see who's winning. 6-4. All right, I'm going to take it, and then we're going to put objectives down and see what's happening. So winning the roll-off was big. I was able to take these guys. Well, the objectives fell like here and in center on his. I was able to kill these guys off with shooting. I killed one of his war chanters and the 6 pigs there. I did take all 3 points. I got a total of 11. I took Savage Spirit. Thanks for reminding me. We sort of forgot to do that at the hero phase. The only thing bad that really happened is Marathi's on 9 wounds, and she only killed 1.5 brutes. So do have a battle shock on the brutes though. And they're good. And going into Jaws, turn 3. All right, so his turn was pretty quick. Over here, he charged the shaman in, trying to take this point. Didn't do any damage. I did like a couple back. He made with his war chanter a huge 3d6 charge into here, hoping to cap that point. Basically forcing me to use my last CP for Overwatch because we did some calculations and it looked like if he got lucky and he could have knocked out enough snakes to get it and take that point. That also really messed me up because I only had 1 CP. Notice Marathi is gone. He took Bring It Down, finest hour, but that last CP, it went over there. The Gorburners got him, so he took that point, scored 6 for the turn. Now we're going into the roll-off for turn 4. 6. All right. So we'll see what's going on. We might talk some stuff out and figure out where we're at. Wrapping up the game, I won the turn. Basically was able to shoot off the shaman, and then here I just ran the sisters to get 3 or 4. I think I ended up with 4 on the point. Used the bow snake's normal shooting to kill the rest of the brutes. It all came down to that roll. We talked about it. It was crazy. I don't think I've ever rolled anything like that. So it came down to that turn 2 roll where I tanked all those 6s to save them. So that was crazy. That swung the game over. Ended up with a total of like 20 to 13 that turn. Hold on a second. So the final score was 52 to 13. And we're moving on to the final game.
All right, let me first start by saying Cameron is a wonderful opponent. It was fun to play him. He's an easygoing guy. We talked everything out. Everything was like, all of my opponents this weekend were good. And I know that doesn't happen every time at a GT. So I'm very gracious and thankful to, when you play somebody and they're reasonable and, we talk things out, we understand each other and we understand the game. He has a beautiful painted army. He made top 20 with his Iron Jaws, and he has a giant display board and just very good hobbyist, So I was really excited to play him. I have seen him at other GTs over the last couple of years, but I've never really had an opportunity to play him until that game. I lost the recording on turn 2, so I didn't record it. I just didn't do it. We went past it. So he basically, I gave him first turn. I outdropped him, so I had choice. He was able to sort of see where I was at, and I didn't really plan on taking first turn just because I knew he was fast enough. He can deploy out of my double shoot range, and if I move up to get into range, it kind of could possibly mess my screens up and my synergy. So I just said, hey, I'm just going to castle up. I'm going to push up as far as I can, set a good screen, and I'm going to let him go, and I'm going to take the brunt of the damage, and then hopefully, all he does is wipe my screens. Then I can punch back, and it'll be a game. Then if you get the double turn, it'll be great for me. So that was my thought process. His first turn, he does what Iron Jaws do, and he moved everybody like way up the board. I don't want to miscomment on exactly what he did, but I know he had some of the War Chanter moves. He basically by the time it was for him to charge his Gore Grunners all had short charges. He had a unit of 6 and a unit of 3 that were in charge range, and his Maw Crusher, I think, had a 3-inch charge. So he had a Maw Crusher, a unit of 3, and a unit of 6, all right there, right outside my screen. Comes in, his battle tactic was broken ranks to kill the witch elves. He accomplished that. I tanked pretty good with the eels just because of their saves on the Maw Crusher, but he did take them out too. So he just deleted my screens. The one thing that I wasn't really prepared for, and I didn't think about it, was that he does get that end of combat phase pile in with the Gore Grunners, and he was able to lock my bow snakes in. So it sort of took my target priorities. It changed it. Basically, I had to shoot them, but that's not a big deal because I was probably going to shoot the 6 Gore Grunners standing right in front of my bow snakes anyway, because that was the biggest threat. So that was his turn. He scored some points, and now I've got right in front of me 9 Gore Grunners and a Maw Crusher, pretty much 4 or 5 inches away from my whole army. And then we go right into my turn. I was able to go up, take out all the pigs, lock up his Maw Crusher with Marathi, and hope for the double turn. Didn't get it. That was fine because I thought it was fine because I thought I was far enough away. His double pile ends, and he locked the snake. We got to that super insane roll of 5 6s to save my bow snakes, and that really just put the game on its head right there, because basically with that happening, I had a full army and he was down at least a third of his forces. And we sort of talked about it later in the game about, if he had killed the snakes, the game wasn't over. I still had enough to do some things. It would have just been a lot closer of a game. It wouldn't have been so me able to run away with it a little bit because I had that extra double shooting each turn. So that was a big swing in the game. And with Iron Jaws, especially if you got a pretty decent damage output, if you can weather that first initial hit, they tend to fold a little quickly just because of the lower armor saves they have, not really having wards and stuff like that. And every model that he loses is severely missed in those lists. They're not really super elite, but they're kind of elite. They're not working with a ton of models. And that's basically what happened. And you saw the rest of the video, just sort of things fell my way, and I was able to take a win and get a lot of good points off of that game. So I'm actually, at this point of the tournament, I'm like, hey, I pulled that one out because there for a few minutes I was thinking I'm not going to win this game. I'm going to go, I'm going to go 1-4 at the event or something like this. So now we're tied back up at 2-2. And we're heading into game 5, and I'm feeling pretty good at this point. So let's get right into game 5 and see what happens. Or game 5, and I'm playing Brian from the Weird Knobs. We're playing Feral Foray. He has got Sons with Kragnos. If y'all watched the channel, the last GT we played round 1, right? So we're lined up on Feral Foray right now, and I'm giving him the first turn. So here we go. So Brian's turn went like this. He took Monstrous Takeover, held that with the Man Crusher. He pulled in over here and obliterated the eels. Yeah, they made it through all the impact hits, but Gatebreaker killed them. Kragnos put everything into Marathi's, and Marathi did 9 back to Kragnos. 8, sorry. And that's where we're sitting. We're going to go into my turn 1. All right, my turn.
For the most part, my spell sort of flopped. I did get the black aura, got 1 damage on the his general here. We took Bring It Down on Kragnos. He only had 10 wounds left, but it literally took to the end of combat with Marathi swinging. I didn't get Mind Razor off, but I was sort of in position to just go in on it. I did manage to, some of the sisters lived, so that was good. We moved up, and this is where we're at. I scored 6 because I killed a monster with Marathi and all that. So it scores 5 to 6 going into turn 2. And we're rolling for priority.
All right, it's okay if she rolls.
Sure. All right, 4 to 5. I'm going to take the turn and see what I can do. All right, so hero phase went better. I got Withering off. I got Black. No, I didn't. I got Mind Razor. I put it on Marathi. I piled in and attacked with Marathi and didn't kill the Gargant. We took Slay the Warlord for his Warlord over here. Didn't get him down. I think I had to get him. I did kill him with Marathi in shooting with Marathi shot. Failed a 7-inch charge, re-rolled over there to try to go in there. And now we're sitting at turn 2 for Suns, and this is what the board looks like. The score is 12 to 5. All right, so his turn, he took Broken Ranks here, but because of the terrain and the way things were, his charge, he couldn't make it quite in. So he went that way, killed the two remaining sisters, took the point, burned it, and Marathi is down to 1 wound. So now is the time for a roll-off going into turn 3. Pretty big deal.
I'm going to take it.
And he's going to take it. Well, I'm out of a lot of options, so I went with Broken Ranks on the Man Crusher. Got him down to 2 wounds with shooting, so I had to go in with the witches and finish him off. They took a couple wounds in return. We're going into a roll-off. We're tied at 16 right now, so me not bringing in the Harpies was probably the biggest mistake that I made this game, and it's really costing me the game because I would have already capped 2 points on his territory. So the roll-off is huge. 5 to 5, you got it. Yep, damn it. There's the game. All right, so he took Conquer this point here, and I was lucky and rolled a 5 for a redeploy. So that's where we're at. He went the other directions. He killed the witches over there. And now it's my turn. So I'm going to move and shoot. Move and shoot. That's all I can do. All right, so my turn was move the snakes a little bit and shoot. I scored 1 for holding a point, and that's it. I moved him up a little bit. He's got 10 wounds left on him. All right, so roll off turn 5. I'm going to re-roll it because it's on terrain. There you go. Let's go. All right, so final score with my grand strategy is 21 to 23 in a loss. Did manage to kill him with the shooting. The Overwatch really helped, but I couldn't do any battle tactics for the last 2 turns. The game totally, I don't want to say swung, but I messed up so bad with not deploying my Harpies like turn 2 or something, right? I think it was turn 2. I forgot to bring them in, and it just sort of like, yeah, because turn 3 you doubled into it, took Slay the Warlord, kill my Warlord. So that's where we're at. Lost by 2. It was a super close game. Like everything was close last couple turns. And yeah, and there is no giants left on the table. It's only 6 snakes. So we'll take it for a moral victory, I guess. All right, that's it.
All right, shout out to all the weird knobs from Austin. It was funny because Saturday night, a lot of the groups of people went out, and I was actually able to hang out with a bunch of the weird knobs, and at Texas Live, and it was fun. And Brian, I've met him before. Like we said, we played in Austin at the last GT first round, and it was a fun game. 100% my loss, no doubt about it. Turn two, I told myself I'm going to drop down the harpies. There's an open point. I'm going to take it, and then I'm going to burn it. And then that was going to be, 2 points for me, or at least a one extra point, but it should have been two because it would have been hole one, hole more, hole one, hole two, hole more, and then I would burn it for the extra point. And I just got too excited and went on into shooting, and I think I'd shot like 2 units, and I said, "Oh, I forgot to drop them in." I didn't even ask to go back. I don't want to put my opponent in that situation. If I hadn't shot anything, obviously it was you could probably said, "Hey, I'm going to drop them in before I start shooting," but I forgot to do that. It cost me the game because just where we were set up, it would have gave me an extra unit in his backfield, and he couldn't have left them back 3 points with his man crusher. It might have changed the dynamic of things. If I could have got one of those priority rolls at the last 3 turns, that would have been helpful to swing the game in my favor as well. But at the end of the day, 100% my fault with a tactical error, just a mistake, and no one to blame but me, and that's all right. I keep saying it. If you're losing a game into GT, it kind of sucks. You don't like that because you spent money, you spent time, you want to win, you want to do the best you can. But if you're losing, at least you lose in fun games, close games, games where you feel like you had a chance for a while. If you lose to opponents that you like, that are like fun to play against, that are reasonable people, it makes it so much more enjoyable because there's nothing worse than going, driving 4 hours to go get stomped by a dude that maybe you just don't like. Maybe he's not a nice person. So that's the way I always see it. Even if I'm, if I'm doing the winning, I try to do it graciously, and if I'm doing the losing, I try not to gripe too much to make them feel bad or anything like that. So at the end of the day, all 3 of my losses were to people that I've known, that that know me, that follow the channel. Some have been on the channel. All the games felt close. All the games were good. Um, all the games that I won were against people that I know in the community, and they were good dudes too. So at the end of the day, it was a fun event. So I'm going to go into my afterthoughts of the whole Lone Star GT now. So capping off this event, just sort of talk about some things that happened. Number one, I failed my primary goal, which was to win 3 games. Only won 2, but hey, it is what it is. I'll keep trucking along. I'll get back on it after a while. I'll find my groove. I'll get my lucky streak going, and I'll start winning some more games, getting that 3 and 4 bracket again. But what can you do? I'm here to have fun. I'm here to hobby, and we want to win. I try to win. If you lose, try not to get too upset about it. My secondary tactic was to keep, I believe it was to keep score my grand strategy at least twice. And notice that I put that pretty low because I didn't think it was actually going to happen. I think I was going to actually win some games without it happening. However, it happened. First turn I was tabled. Second game I got it. Third game I did get it. Fourth game I got it, and even the 5th game I got it. So there was only 1 out of the 5 which I failed my grand strategy, which was hold the line. So I'm proud of that. That I think that really came about from me becoming better at playing the army as the tournament went on. Like I said, before the tournament even started, I felt like I needed about 10 to 15, maybe even 20 more games with this army to really get my groove into how it runs, how it functions, just streamline and sort of knowing what's going on. I think I sort of got to that point by the end of the GT where I was a lot more comfortable with it. So all I needed was 3 or 4 more games. Maybe I could have pulled a winning record out of the whole deal. Personally, great seeing everybody. Like I said, out of 100 people, and you recognize like 50 of them sometimes, like it's great. That's great. Just seeing people, getting to eat with people, going to have a drink at the bar with people, shaking people's hands you haven't seen in a while, stopping and just watching people play. If your game's done early or on Friday prior to the tournament, there's people playing. You can sit around and chat and see what they're doing, see their tactics, see, how they've done. Talk about painting, beautiful painted armies. I'm so happy I made the top 20 in painting. That was sort of a goal to try to get to that cusp. So I got that. I think when they put all the points out for everything, I think I ended up with like 17th place or something like that. So hey, I'm not griping about that at all. Um, I did enter some models into the standalone painting competition. There was three categories: endless spells, monsters, and mounted non-monsters. So I put a Varengard in that, and I didn't win anything. My endless spell made fifth place, and my Lord of Change that I put in for the monster category, I just got word today that I actually placed fifth in it. There was an error in the stuff, so didn't get a ribbon for that, but I'm happy that I was at least acknowledged that, hey, this was some good stuff. And I will give a shout out to Matt and the rest of the guys that ran the GT. There was some hiccups along the way, and I'm not going to go into all that because, I mean, if these things happen, but I tell you what, they got it, they fixed it, they made it right for everybody. The 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 raffle prize support was off the charts. They gave a lot of money to charity. Um, the prizes were nice. They had trophies. They had ribbons for everybody. Everybody loves to win a ribbon. I mean, I'm 40 something years old. I still like winning ribbons, like just like a little kid. So they had ribbons for winners. It was it seemed like a well run tournament, other than one hiccup with the BCP after first round, but they got that all straight. And just a shout out because I thought it was good. And even better than the tournament is, since it's been about almost a week, I don't say a week, it's been 3 or 4 days since the tournament's over, and they have been pushing out on their Discord for the tournament all of all of the painting notes, all the scores for painting, like everything that they measured and everything they had has been given to us. The spreadsheets, the Google Docs have been given to all the players. It is out. Super great, because that type of feedback from a tournament is what everybody strives for. And even the painting judges, there was notes in there, hey, great this, or could you use better that. That is going to make a painter know what the judges are looking for. It's going to make them better. It's going to make, there was a comment on Discord earlier today saying, hey, they were, saying my bases weren't good, so I'm upping my base game. That is exactly the type of thing that drives us as hobbyists. Oh, you gave me a ding on that. Well, guess what? The next model I do, I'm going to make sure I do that better. So I just want to give a shout out to Matt and all those guys for putting that together. It was super good. Give a shout out to all the crews, Slambo from Austin. Give a shout out to the Weird Knobs, who I had a great time Saturday night with, getting to know them guys better. And shout out to all the guys from Houston, which were called Grand Alliance Houston. But I think I was the only one from Houston that was rolling Roll to Wound Team, and everybody else was rolling Harambe's Heroes. And that's fine. Shout out to the Harambe's Heroes. They scored, the first and second place, which we'll talk about right now. So here on the blog site, you can see I've got all the lists and all the placings, and I'll continue to add more videos and things to this as I get more content from this. We'll probably be working on it for a week or so. All right, so first place, you got Zachary Kennedy here from Houston. Zach, and you can tell if you know Zach, or if you've been in the community a while, he's generally considered, I'll just say one of the top players in Texas. Just that's the way I'll say it. He's one of the top players in Texas, and he is a very nice guy. I want to say my second game at a GT was here in Houston several years ago, and I was playing Legions of Nagash, and I played Zachary, and I believe Zachary went on to win that tournament. So once again, people using my corpse to elevate them up the ladder, but Zach is a really good guy. He's very approachable. He's very smart, and there's times when I'll message him with a question about, hey, what do you think about this unit? Or what do you think about this tactic? Or what do you think about this rule? And he's always willing to give you feedback and talk to you. So he's a very nice guy. And he took his Thunder Lizards and he got first place. Of course, he is Harambe's hero. He is the sheriff? El Capitan, I think is his name. One of those two. Second place, you got Gavin. Now, Gavin has been making the rounds on all the YouTube lately. He's also here from Houston. Super great player. Now, I still don't know, who's better, Gavin or Zach. What's happening? I don't know. Those guys are both Harambe's heroes, and generally all year have been winning every GT that they pretty much go to. And you notice that Gavin actually took a bit of a meme list because he won the last couple GTs and was like, well, I'm going to take something and let people know that the meta isn't a real thing. It's all about um, player, the player's ability. So he took a gloom spite list with Kragnos, I believe. It's also in here. So if you want to see what he ran, there you go. We got Jonathan with OBR, and Jonathan is I call him a friend, a buddy of mine. I have been, seems like, playing him at GTs for a while now. Nice guy, another approachable person, very knowledgeable. He was a doc player a couple of years ago, and I think that was his first or his primary army. And I'd gotten beaten by his doc a few times. Very knowledgeable about daughters. And he's been playing OBR, I think, most of third edition. I've seen him take that to a few of the GTs. And he just sort of rolled through with his OBR. And I was questioning him about some of his tactics and what he was doing, and he's just like, "Hey, Mortek guard, just live." When you have Mortek guard and you have Catacross and Arcan healing them, they just sort of sit there and do what they do. And that was what he was telling me. That was how he was able to win games. So his list will be available. Justin, playing Seraphon. Now, Justin was the winner of the Austin GT from GW. He did that with Iron Jaws, but now he had switched to Seraphon, and he's up there. Thomas, some people, if you're big into the scene and you've ever been around a lot of the bigger tournaments, Thomas usually goes to these. I've just recently sort of been around him or seen him, haven't really got to meet him that much yet, but by all accounts, a very, very good player, world traveler and national traveling type AOS player. Even going back to, I know people talked about he used to be a big War Machine guy and would travel around for all those. So he flew in to come play this tournament. Matt obviously has been on the channel with his doc before. He switched to Soul Blight, and he did very well. His list, go check that out. I'm not going to go over everybody's list here, but go check that out if you're a Soul Blight player. It is a slightly unconventional. I would say that just slightly, because he's running 10 blocks of Blood Knights. So it's a little bit unconventional, I guess you would say. Interesting to see his list, and it's interesting to see how he applies it. Talk to him a little bit about that. Bottom line is he's got hordes, and he presses and locks you in. And after you grind through everything, by that point, he's hoping he wins. And number one, Matt is just a really good player. So no matter what he plays, he's going to figure it out and figure out his style with it and be good with it. And he's done that with Soul Blight. So check his list out for you Soul Blight players. It's definitely interesting. And Noah, I haven't really met Noah. He is another out-of-town guy. And if you're sort of seen the AOS circuit, he's generally considered one of the big-time players in America and the world. He goes to a lot of tournaments, does really well. Real quick, we'll cover this. James West, been on the channel several times playing Magkin. If you're a Magkin player, go check out his list. It is definitely interesting. Marco is an awesome Weird Knob. He's playing Iron Jaws. We got Illumineth Realm Lord, and Caleb. Also, if you're a Seraphon player, you already know his channel, I'm pretty sure, and you're probably a subscriber. He's probably going to put out his video with his battle report. Go check out Caleb Hastings' channel. Really nice guy, very approachable person too, very knowledgeable, probably one of the most knowledgeable Seraphon players around. Brian Lofton, another Harambe's hero from here in Houston. He's been running that Ogre Maw Tribes Underguts, that big shooting list. He's done really well. He's went 4-1 in Austin and here. He should be on AOS Coach pretty soon, going over that. And if you ever played Brian, you know him. He's a boisterous, fun dude, and he definitely knows how to run that Maw Tribes list. You got Stormcast from Joseph, David Adams running Lumineth, and Ryan running Cities. Finally, way down at 51st place, you got me coming in with my doc. And, my buddy TJ's down here too. We got Ryan and BJ also down here in the 50s. So we won't dwell that. I'm sure the other guys don't want me showing them down there with me. Anyway, the lists are going to be on the website. You can go check that out. You can break it apart. And that does it. That's my wrap up for part 2. Like I said, keep posted for more content coming out from the Lone Star GT. I'm going to update the site. I'm going to continue to add more information about it. If you have any questions about the battle report, about lists, about things like that, just hit me up in the comments. I'm happy to give you any feedback that I can. And that's all I've got for today, man. So as always, thanks for watching, and y'all be good.